On my birthday, my family gave me a card that said, "At least you tried." They all laughed as I pretended to blow out candles on an empty cake stand. I took the joke, I took the photo, and I took the car keys. 2 weeks later, my brother texted, "Mom's been crying every night, just come back. I'm Mason, I'm 24. And that birthday was the last one I'll ever spend with them. The card was cheap, one of those clearance bin ones from a gas station. It had a sad clown on the front holding a deflated balloon. Inside, in my dad's blocky handwriting, he'd written, "You gave it a shot, kiddo." Then they all signed it. My mom, my sister Jenna, who just landed a job at a downtown law firm, my 16-year-old brother Liam, who already had soccer scouts watching him. They thought it was hilarious. There was no cake, just an empty stand with 7 candles stuck in air. Jenna held up her phone and said, "Smile, Mason, say minimum wage." I'd been working at a used bookstore for 2 years, making $11.50 an hour. They called it my figuring things out phase. I stood there in our living room with those pathetic streamers drooping from the ceiling fan, everyone laughing, and I smiled, I posed, I played along, because that's what I always did. I was the background kid, the one they teased because he can take a joke. Jenna was the golden child with her full scholarship. Liam was the prodigy athlete, and me? I was the dropout who tried screen printing t-shirts once and failed. After they finished laughing, I walked to my room, grabbed my keys, and left. That car they joked about? My 2019 Corolla that I bought myself 3 years ago. Every single payment was mine. Ate $200 cash from working double shifts and skipping meals. The AC barely worked. The left speaker crackled, but it was mine. I drove to my friend Alex's apartment that night. He took one look at my face and said, "Took you long enough." I stayed on his couch, started sketching again for the first time in 3 years. I'd quit because Jenna once said, "You'll never make a living off doodles," and I believed her. But now, I drew everything. The old woman with the giant tote bag on the bus, the overgrown alley behind Alex's building, the man playing saxophone in the subway. I filled 3 sketchbooks in a month, then something shifted. A woman came into the art supply store where I'd started working part-time. She pointed at a charcoal sketch I'd pinned on the community board and said, "How much for this?" I told her it wasn't for sale. She smiled. It should be. That night, Alex helped me set up an online portfolio. Just a few scans, a short bio, a PayPal link. We called it Lines Between. Within 2 weeks, I sold my first 3 prints, $300 each. It wasn't about the money. It was about being seen, not as the family joke, just as Mason, the guy who sketches people when they're not looking. Then, I got an email from a local gallery. Someone had seen my work online and passed along my name. They were putting together a community exhibition. No fees, no commissions, just a chance to show your work. I said yes immediately. That's when my brother's text came through. "Mom's been crying every night, just come back." I stared at it for a long time, left it on red, because the next day, I did something better. I sent them all formal invitations to my gallery opening, professional ones, printed on thick cardstock with my name at the top. "You are cordially invited to the Empty Stand, a solo exhibition by Mason Elliott." Jenna RSVP'd first, within 20 minutes, then my mom, then my dad. Opening night, the gallery was packed. Friends from the art shop, local artists, even customers I barely knew. And at 7:02 p.m., they walked in. My mom, my dad, Jenna, Liam. They looked nervous, out of place. I watched them move through the exhibit slowly, quietly. My mom stopped in front of a piece called Invisible Dinner, a table with 1 plate missing. My dad stood for 10 minutes looking at broken promises, a sketch of an empty chair at a school art fair. Liam stared at muted applause, hands clapping in silence. And Jenna, she froze in front of the centerpiece. It was a charcoal rendering of that birthday. Me standing in front of an empty cake stand, candles burning in midair. Everyone else mid-laugh. The caption underneath simply said, "At least you tried." She stood there for 5 full minutes, didn't move. When they finally left, none of them said a word. Not to me, not to each other. 3 days later, my dad called, just to talk, no agenda. Jenna took down every family photo from her Instagram. My mom asked if she could visit the gallery again. And Liam, he showed up at my apartment with burgers and said, "I'm proud of you." I didn't need their apology, because they'd finally seen it, really seen it. That night, as they tried to congratulate me at the gallery, trying to smile like nothing had happened, I looked at all of them and said the only thing that mattered, at least I tried, and I won.